Hi everyone, today we're going to be working on Unit 8D, Day 9, and that works with this problem called the spread of aids, and it's on packet pages 8, 9, and 10. So I'm going to give you some pointers first on all of them in this short video, and then it'll be up to you to work through it during the period. Once you are done, take pictures of it, and by the end of the period, then upload that to Schoology. So first thing to point out is they give us a table and they give us an equation to begin with. Anytime they say in the question table, you should be using the table. Anytime it says model, you should use the equation. So if it says like according to the model, that means according to the equation. So you should be using the equation. We're going to be letting X equal the years since 1980. So you can fill that in right now. Again, this is on page 8. So X equals years. X equals years since 1980. And you might notice like it doesn't match great in the beginning, but eventually towards the middle it matches pretty well. So in 2, you'll be finding how many cases the model predicts. Remember, model, that means you should be using the equation. In 3, use the data in the table. So you should be using the table in question 3. Calculate the average rate. So that means you're going to be doing a slope at which the disease is spread in the early 1990s. So you want to find your slope between 89 to 90. You want to find your slope from 90 to 91, and then also find your slope from 91 to 92. So you should have 3 slopes for that, and make sure you put the units on each of them. Using your answers in 3, you'll then be able to answer question 4. Moving over to the next page, we have another equation, a of x. They're telling us this is an alternative model to represent the cases. So the first equation we saw, this was an exponential equation. It was things raised to the x. This is what's called a logistic equation, and we will talk more about logistic equations towards the end of the week. So we want to compare the 2 models. Remember, models means equation. So in this question 5, you should have for a of x, you should be doing it at 1991 and 1992. And then also you will do it for g of x, which is the one on the front. So you'll sub in the appropriate x value for each of those to see how many cases the model predicts. Well, now we want to compare it in the long run. So we want to do 2001 and 2031. So again, you're going to do it for a of x and for g of x, and you're going to see how many cases does it tell for each of them in 2001. And also in 2031. Don't be alarmed. Some of them might be large values with scientific notation. That's okay. When you see that E in the calculator, that means times 10 to the something. So it says like E and then 22, that means times 10 to the 22, and that's scientific notation. In 7, you're going to sketch a graph. Okay, this is going to be on the grid on the next page. And for that, for g of x, I want you to sketch it for the domain x is equal to 0 to 10, we'll say. And for a of x, I want you to sketch it for x equals 0 to 14. Now you should be able to get the values easily by putting it in a graphs page and then do a Control T. So you should have actual points plotted. Label your X and Y axis with the units. And make sure to put an arrow on the end of your graph. All right, so in 8, we want to know the approximate growth rate in the year 2001 for each of them, G of X and A of X. Well, they didn't specify table here, and notice they're saying G of X and A of X, so that means the equations. So rate means we want to do a slope. So we're going to be doing this with our 0.01s. So since we did X is years since 1980, 2001 will be 21 years later. So for each of these, for A of X and for G of X, you should have 21 and find what the Y value is. And then you should have 21.01, find what the Y value is and do the slope. And you'll do that again with G of X. And you should be able to just use your equation to sub those in to find the Y values, do your change in Y over change in X, and then you can answer what it wants to know further in the question. So that's what you'll be working on in class today. Again, you should be able to complete this in the period. Once you've finished it, take pictures and upload it, and then you're done for this class period. Tomorrow in class, it's a Wednesday, so we do have an assignment. So you'll go to Schoology. There's some practice questions there. There's not a video for Wednesday. It's just some practice questions. You'll do those practice questions and upload them for your work for Wednesday.